Live on streaming. Am I live? Oh yeah, I got the dogs here. All right, guys, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Market Trading. I'm your host, Vays. Tatiana, your dog's finally trying to get away. We have Michon here. That's Tatiana's dog. Tatiana's right over there. She's gonna walk over. Satoshi, come here. He was just jumping around here a minute ago. Let me get your dog, Doug.
Okay.
I'm gonna steal him. Doug, back in his robe. There you go. Microphone.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, the dog is
throw a ball.
he's super distracted with all kinds of stuff. There we go. And
Come on, Satoshi, get over here. That's Mel. Mel is organizing Unconfiscatable. So we're gonna talk about the conference a little bit. Doug this is his house. I'm gonna show you guys with the camera. Oh, I still have the green screen. Tatiana, look at your shirt.
I know.
Let me turn up the visual background.
Hello, everyone.
Visual background.
Welcome to the party.
Boom.
What's the price? What's the price? What's the price?
Oh yeah. I gotta show you guys this house. You guys see me stream from this house before?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We have Jonathan Bohan walking around somewhere in the back too.
Jonathan!
Where's the hobo? Let me see. Can you guys see him?
Yeah, it'll.
Where is he?
There he is.
There he is.
For
His shorts.
those, so those who don't know, Jonathan Mohan was one of the 4 hosts of Let's Talk Bitcoin with Andres.
That was like
And
2011.
Oh no, he did it up until they ended. He was
No, but when did it start?
Oh yeah, 2013. I think.
2013.
Yeah,
Or 14.
And Doug's been around Bitcoin for a little while.
yeah, 2011.
Yeah, so you got a nice house, Doug.
Thank you.
Are we saying goodbye to this house?
Maybe.
All right.
Market is good. I want to downsize.
Miami market is
Look at
good.
the pool in the yard, and Satoshi loves it and everything.
Yeah, and we have an extra microphone here. And Tatiana, what have you been up to in the last 6 months since you've been on this channel?
I have a new album, Love Songs for Idiots.
I love. There's so many good songs in that. And the
Thank you.
title, if I had anything to do with it,
It actually, Doug did have something to do with it. I remember I was at an event and I was going to call it like Gemini Rising. And he's like, I've been thinking about it. Love Songs for Idiots. Let's do it.
It's so cool sounding.
It sounds kind of negative and miserable, but
There's so many idiots in it. They gel with it.
I'm like, wow, that's like that to say.
yeah, I feel like that works for people. So yeah, Love Songs for Idiots. And then I'm, I don't know, doing some anti-war stuff, preferably not with communists.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, I'm wearing like pajamas. So I'm literally doing the stream from the couch I slept on last night. I'm flew in from Panama. There's a poker table over there. That was fun last night. And you guys have a ridiculous fish tank. I'll show it to you guys later. We do have to take a look at the price. People are probably wondering. This is definitely a hippie house. You can see it if let me rotate the camera around. Your dogs want attention. We went in this direction already. Let's go in the other direction. Hey, Mel, you're on camera.
There's Satoshi's tail.
Hey, Satoshi.
Look at Misha. He's so
There he
happy.
is.
Is it good you want? Is that it right there?
Throw that way.
Right here we go.
Misha likes everybody. I mean, he especially likes
He's
you.
so good at catching that ball. It's crazy.
All day long.
I'm just like,
Offline. See if that works.
All right, Tony Tone. How
All
rich
right.
are we all going to be?
Wow.
Do you think it's ever going to go down to 10K again?
No,
Never?
I don't think it's ever gonna go to 20 again.
Really? Okay.
I think the days of buying Bitcoin below 20. And Mohan, get in here.
Yeah.
what do you think,
Walk
25?
back here. Just walk.
25 is possible. Yeah, we're streaming. Oh, he's still on the phone. Like bother.
Oh, Misha,
Oh God.
please. I'm gonna put you guys outside.
All right, let's go to the charts. Doug, always in a robe. He's always in a robe. Whether it's his house or his mom's basement, he's always in a robe. There you go.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know. Any questions on price? All right, we're going to the charts, guys. Here, and
Tone, when's your next event? In August?
no. Okay, no, I have my own.
Oh, you have your own. Okay. What's happening?
So they're having. Oh wow, look at that. We're actually slow on the blocks. That's rare. We're finding blocks every 10 minutes, 51 seconds. That's very rare. Usually we're way ahead. That's interesting. So the next event is the Financial Summit in the UAE, very close to Dubai. You're using the Dubai airport to get there. And that's going to take place on November 5 to 10. Doug has been to the financial summit
Yep.
and he loved it.
Oh, Dominican Republic, so much fun. So, I mean, the memories, the people, the friends. you
Yeah,
know,
right here. That was it. You're in there somewhere.
Wait, who cares about the friends and all that? Did you make money? Did you learn something that let you, like, you can have a fun vacation anywhere. What do you get from Tone's event
Well,
that makes it special?
so I tell you, the friends and the relationships, the business opportunities that have come my way from these circles that Tone has curated are so valuable. And I'm in relationships right now. I'm deploying certain things around the country because of Tone's financial summit.
Well, if he's deploying, that's how you know it's serious.
Awesome.
When you use the word deploy,
Mhm.
that means you mean
I know.
business.
I didn't want to say what I was deploying.
And then unconfiscatable, which all of you have been to.
I'm not in the shot. And I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like I'm left
Oh, you
out.
kind of in the shop.
Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
I met someone at the Swan Salon who I gave an unconfiscatable card to, and he said, I'm gonna absolutely be there. The first time I went, I met people and I did business.
Mhm.
He's like, real business.
Cool.
I'll be back. I
Mhm.
was like, all right.
And this is the one you guys have both been to. You've played in the poker tournament. Mel, you helped us out last year a lot. And this is going to be in December 7 and 8. Unfortunately, I'm overlapping with Art Basel.
Oof, that's a
I
rough
know.
thing to compete
It's going to be
with.
rough for the Miami people. I know.
So wait, what if somebody is not a maximalist? Are they going to be like shunned at your event? Are they going to be kicked
It
out?
depends what they're wearing.
Okay, got it.
I mean, if you walk around in an Ethereum hat, yeah, probably. But yeah, no. The people come. They just try to stay quiet.
So what I learned about being a Bitcoiner, a lot of times people have to be a shitcoiner first, and then you figure out.
Yep, that's usually true.
Being a Bitcoiner.
All right, so since you guys probably haven't watched my show in a while, here is my long-term projection on what I think the price is going to do this year and in this bull cycle. I have called the bottom when Bitcoin broke 20K. That's when I became as bullish as I've ever been at any other point in my analysis history. And I think we are in for the bull market. I don't believe that 20K is going to be broken to the downside again. 25 is possible, but 20 I think is unlikely at this point. And I have two paths. Either we go up very, very quickly back to the all-time high, or approximately 60, and then pull back about 50% into the halving, or we kind of slowly grind into the halving. Either way, I'm thinking that the price will be approximately 40 to 50,000 at year end and around the halving, which is a few months later. And then the real bull cycle comes after the halving. And I'm thinking at least 200K in the next bull cycle.
That doesn't sound, I mean, I'm bummed out when you say end of the year, 40K.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Why does that bum you out?
Well, I was talking to Nico watching his show.
Oh, we can just leave.
Poker last night as well. And it's just the idea that everyone thought we'd be at 100K. Like,
And
a
this is
year
why
ago.
we're not. I'm gonna put my mics here. Hey guys, let me know how the audio is. I'm just gonna put the mics here so we don't have to pass them around anymore.
Mark Lombardi's here. What's going on, man?
Hey, you're gonna be on
You're
camera.
on
Just
the
a
live
heads up.
stream, So, where'd you stay? You in Chains place?
Bro. I took the couch. I gave him the
Oh,
bedroom.
you did. You
How
that,
many things you
that
have
was
there, sir?
true
It looks
there.
quite luscious.
Mhm.
Yeah. Man, I had some rough
Okay.
beats in poker last night.
Man,
Oh, now he's on the couch. Come on, Satoshi, get up here.
He wants to play.
All right, I'm
I
out
know.
of here.
All right, so you're gonna go play with the doggies.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, I'll be right.
Jen, Amy, Melissa.
I want to watch the rest
Yeah.
of this thing.
Yeah,
Analysis.
Okay.
this house is really like Silicon Valley, Joe.
Oh, dude, I have 3 companies, being incubated here. Yeah. Right. Including the hippie sound healing.
Well, this is
guy.
not a hippie. I'm dressed like a hippie, so I'm perfect for this house right here.
Right.
Satoshi.
I've got a bunch of gongs, like
Yeah.
5-foot gongs.
Yeah, what happened to the gongs?
Well, so Shane's sound healing stuff is he's on tour for 6 months.
They
his
took him
two-
with the gongs.
with the with these dogs and his gong.
with his dogs, right?
Yeah, I've got brand new 5-foot gongs. I'm gonna show them to you. And I'm in talks with some various Bitcoin conferences to buy or rent them. I'm gonna etch the big B in them so that you can open your session with a massive gong.
And where are you gonna keep it?
Well, I'm hoping I'm going to sell them or,
Oh, okay.
right, there's so many conferences here in Miami, I can keep them somewhere here if I decide to rent them instead.
Gotcha. All right. So here's our weekly chart. We're working on our fourth consecutive doji candle on the weekly scale. To me, this is incredibly bullish. We never even pulled back to the intermediate moving average. It's the weekly.
Oh,
And look, price can correct. We can have a correction through price, or we can have a correction through time. Right now, we are working on a correction through time. Now, I was anticipating a correction through price that was going to last about 3 to 4 weeks. This is the fourth week of the correction. I'm so lazy.
No, he
Um,
only wants to play.
This
Okay.
is the fourth week of a correction through time. Now, because it's a correction through time and not a correction through price, it means that it should probably take a little longer in time because there wasn't a price correction alongside. So it's possible we're going to have one more week of consolidation, but I am also, I would say 75% confident that this is going to break out to the upside. Doesn't mean it's not a 75% is not 100%, obviously. But I would give this a 75 to 80% chance that when the breakout comes, it's going to be to the upside. So this is my allocation chart. This is where this is a non-leveraged position in Bitcoin and how much of that you should have in your, let's say, portfolio. But that portfolio could be only trading Bitcoin, or it could be trading other assets. And this is the Bitcoin part of your diversified portfolio.
So what do you mean?
Does that
So
make
when you
sense?
say 100% bullish allocation, meaning whatever you would normally put into Bitcoin, this is the time to go 100%
Correct.
of your portion of your portfolio. That
Right,
is,
which could be all your money, right? It's up
Yeah.
to you, right?
Okay.
So let's say you have $100,000 to invest
right.
Right.
In Bitcoin.
in anything,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
And you are one of those people that says, I'm going to use this $100 to invest in stock market, bond market, Bitcoin, and gold, right? So the Bitcoin part of that portfolio would be 100%. So if you say on that portfolio, out of my 100K, the most I would ever hold Bitcoin is 50%, you would be 50%.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you have a portfolio that says, hey, I have $100,000 allocated to only Bitcoin, so it's either going to be in cash, Bitcoin long, or Bitcoin short, it would be 100% Bitcoin long right now.
Right.
Okay. And it was 20% Bitcoin long here. I doubled it to 40% here and 100% over here. Now, very occasionally I do go short. And the two times I tried going short in a bear market, I just got bad time that I got screwed and I had to take the stop loss. But we're now 100% long.
Are these your actual positions as well? Like your, I'm asking you a personal question here. So of your tradable stash, or, whatever.
For not, I'm trying not to answer that question. Because I don't want this to be trading advice. But this is my public reputation on what it is, right? Like here's the thing, it's where I tell people, don't worry about what I'm holding, worry about what you're holding. But this is my reputational stake with this chart. Okay.
can I mention the two moving averages there? And
There's technically 3 moving averages, but one of them,
the way they're pointing up.
yeah, they're
That's
looking great.
pretty-
So there's 3 moving averages here. So I will say this. At the moment, I am 100% long in my retirement account in Bitcoin and only Bitcoin. There's no other asset. Right. But to be honest, it didn't exactly follow this path. But the reason it didn't follow this path.
You mean 40, 120?
Right. Like at the moment, my personal portfolio of my retirement account is matching this 100%.
Right.
But it didn't get to this 100% in exactly the same way.
Maybe dollar cost average in?
No. The reason why, and this is super interesting actually, the reason why my allocation didn't match this is because my portfolio, my retirement portfolio, utilizes GBTC. And GBTC is on a massive discount.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Correct. So it would have been dumb of me to get out of the GBTC when it was like 50% below par. You know what I mean?
Does
It
it make
wouldn't make
sense to buy
sense.
more?
Because you were,
It does make sense to
Yeah.
buy more, but when you're already 100%
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
it makes it very difficult to buy more. And it's a retirement account, so I could only add $6,000 a year to it, right?
look, and we're in Miami and it's raining.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Right.
only because I had to manage the, like, it's thing going below zero, trading at a discount while being fully backed. That is the reason why my personal allocation didn't match these numbers. But right now, my personal allocation is matching these numbers. And I am anticipating the GBTC discount to actually go away and go back to zero in this bull market. And if the GBTC discount is at zero or above, then my retirement portfolio will be matching what I say on that chart going forward. In fact, if it goes above zero, I might actually be selling a little bit prematurely in my retirement account, but I can't use that to affect this chart because just because I'm trading GBTC doesn't mean that you're trading GBTC, right? So this is the chart how I would allocate my Bitcoin portfolio. Now, I think Bitcoin is going to be the best performing asset over the next 1 to 2 years. So it makes no sense for me to diversify into the S&P 500, which I think is going to be the second best performing asset. Maybe oil will be the second best performing asset and S&P third, but that's kind of my view on it.
Can I ask another question? So what do you think about the potential of the SEC win from GBTC so that they could form an ETF? I mean, there's rumors that they're going to come out on top. What is that to do GBTC?
Oh, so that's actually going to be bad. Wait. Am I losing
I want
connection
this
here?
to take because that's totally counterintuitive.
So let me look at the live chat real quick. People are saying GBTC is pumping. So does everyone understand? Like, Doug, do you understand what I mean about like my allocation? My allocation happens to match right now, but also if on here, right, if we start to go down, I will say, hey, I'm not 100% bullish anymore. I'm only 80% bullish. I probably will not sell my GBTC because
it's underwater.
It's stupidly underwater, right? It's stupidly underwater because they printed too many GBTC shares because of companies like BlockFi and 3AC and others that were taking advantage of the high premium before. A lot of the shit is easy in hindsight. So, but if GBTC goes back to par, and then I put 80% here, then yes, I am selling 20% of my GBTC position. Now, where is that 20% going to go? It's either going to go into cash or S&P 500 or an oil ETF. But there's no good oil ETF either. USO is actually a shitty ETF. There is no really good oil ETF.
If they win their SEC case,
so
and
here's
get an ETF.
Here's the problem, right? So it's really a good discussion. So did you hear the?
Are we going full screen for this?
Yeah, we can go full screen for a minute. Let me just go to a lower time frame on Bitcoin. So here's the daily chart on Bitcoin real quick.
Consolidation.
I love the consolidation. This is the daily chart. Yeah, no, it looks great. And here's the short-term chart. And we'll look at the correlation chart with the S&P real quick. And I'm going to leave this one. Let me throw it on a 10-minute time frame so we can kind of look at them in 10 minutes.
So the correlation chart, you're just comparing.
S&P and Bitcoin on a 10-minute scale. You can see how they're always correlated. Okay, so the SEC. So what happened was,
well, as I watch it, when you have these long discussions and it's not full screen and you're looking at a chart the whole time, it's a little boring. But people with their emotions and their hand gestures and stuff.
Okay, so let me. So let me go this for a second. Discussion with Dr. Mel. You want to be on camera?
Yeah.
I'll swing the camera. No, I'll swing the camera.
Yeah, got it.
Camera's good.
I'm all about proper, framing, because I used to be a videographer. Did you guys know that? No, do not put heads in the middle. Drop it down more, Tom. I'm going to tell you some stuff. It's the rule of thirds. Down. There you go. Now you want your eyes to be in the top third. If you're watching a newscaster,
right? So everyone gets to look at our crotch.
Their heads, fine. That's not the point. Their heads are not in the middle of the screen. Okay. Now continue with those properly framed shots.
Okay. So because of, do you understand why the GBTC used to trade at a huge premium, and then it started trading at a huge discount. You understand what happened?
Explain that to me.
Okay.
Because
So I
I always thought it was because there was downward pressure through shorting and the
No,
and
There's no shorting.
hmm,
Has nothing to do with shorting.
okay.
Had to do with the lending, didn't it?
No, had nothing to do with lending.
Okay.
Well, BlockFi lending. This is
Yes.
how BlockFi was given this awesome interest. So, okay, so here's the thing. So think of GBTC as a constrained supply on Bitcoin. Okay. So I've explained this many times, but it's good. I haven't done it in a while. So I really need its own dedicated stream for this. Yeah.
I got to make sure that Mihal doesn't walk out in his underwear.
Oh crap. Okay, go.
But
tell
no,
him.
keep going. And I was well, there's one down there to the right, and there's one here behind the kitchen. As long as it's light on the toilet paper.
But you won't walk out in underwear, right? It's not gonna walk out naked.
Right. Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah. It'll boost your stream.
Baby.
Okay. So so tell me
okay.
about GBTC. If go back 1 to 1.
So, okay. So it's a constricted supply. So the way GBTC works, so you have the parent company DCG owned by Barry Silver.
Mhm.
Grayscale is a subsidiary of GBTC. Grayscale initially started as a Bitcoin trust and then added a bunch of scams, but they started as a Bitcoin trust. And the way the Bitcoin trust works is Barry Silver was a genius back then. Actually, I've worked with this company before Bitcoin even existed.
Second market.
Second market.
I did too.
Yeah.
They sent the check to my closing of the crypto cabin. I sold my Bitcoin through second market.
So back in the last company I worked at, the company wasn't a public company, but it was potentially going to go public. So the shares that I had in that company were on second market.
right.
This is before Bitcoin even existed.
Yep.
Anyway, so when he created the trust, you would have to prove that you're a high net worth individual or a sophisticated person, and you just need 50 to 100K in the bank, and then you qualify.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa! I hate when that happens.
That's weird.
Yeah, the camera sometimes goes on.
Okay.
So
There you go again. Drop that ink.
Ah.
Geez, man, you got to frame it. You never see newscasters sitting like that with their heads in the middle.
So you have to buy into the trust to at least 25 grand. He buys 25,000 worth of Bitcoin and puts it in this trust. Now you can't sell that for 6 months.
Is that for regulatory
That's
reasons?
what it
Or
was.
For regulatory reasons. Well,
Okay.
no, that's the regulatory, that's the prospectus of the trust, right?
Okay.
You have to hold it for 6 months. After 6 months, you can exit the position. But how do you exit? Now, you don't have to exit, you can stay in the trust, right? But if you choose to exit the position, how is the position exited? The position is exited by creating GBTC shares, which are then sold on the open market as pink sheets. Pink sheets are basically penny stock. So they don't have
So
to
would
be.
you get cash back somehow through this transaction?
Right, you would get cash back in your brokerage account.
And
Right.
then they used that, didn't they?
They what?
So then the
Didn't they
shares.
use
of-
that to lend?
No. Okay, no. Let me finish. Okay. So if you want to exit, right, you create GBTC shares off of the trust that you have, and it's backed by Bitcoin, and then you sell the GBTC shares to those that want to buy the GBTC shares. Now, who's buying the GBTC shares? People like anyone with a brokerage account, whether it's a retirement account or a regular, like the way you buy Apple stock, you can buy GBTC shares, but you don't have to wait 6 months. You can just buy them immediately and sell them the next day if you like. You can day trade this if you want, right? But GBTC shares get created based on the supply of those in the trust.
The
right?
supply of the shares in the trust?
Right? And the shares in the trust get created by people putting in minimum 25K at a time
And
with on a
purchasing
6-month delay before creating the shares,
and,
right?
And then buying Bitcoin.
So-
And then the trust buys Bitcoin. Okay.
Correct. And the trust buys Bitcoin. So
Yeah.
in 2017, when the bull market was happening, there was so much demand for GBTC shares, but you couldn't just create them out of the blue because it's not a traditional ETF that would just immediately create more shares like GLD does, the gold ETF. Okay.
This is Tali.
Oh, Mihal, we are streaming live, so you're welcome to walk through
Yeah.
in underwear,
Right.
which is okay.
There's Tali. Tali. Fine.
So
There we go.
So basically, in 2017, there was the bull market's happening. People want to buy it simply in their brokerage account. they're buying GBTC, but not enough GBTC is being created because people have to exit the trust. And now they have to wait 6 months. And
So it's the only way for them to get into the GBT trust is by buying existing
Through-
shares?
no.
Say hi, Miha. You come over here. There
This
you
is
go.
Mihao.
Yep. What's the name of your company again?
Matterfy.
All
He's
right.
founder and CEO of Matterfy.
And Tatiana's
And
dog is
developer.
here too, if you want to let them out and play with each other.
So, but no, you buy into the trust through Grayscale.
Right.
You buy into the trust, you have to wait 6 months, and now you're selling GBTC shares. If there is too much demand for GBTC shares, they're going to sell at a premium.
Actually, here's what I'm trying to, the disconnect between the GBT shares and buying and creating new GBT shares by buying Bitcoin. Why can't someone just do that?
Where's the premium coming from? Okay.
What am I missing here?
So this is why this is a complicated discussion.
Yeah.
So, okay. I'm Barry Silver.
Hi, Barry.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you. I own, let's say back when it was only Bitcoin, right?
Mhm.
You are a high net worth individual.
Okay.
You are buying into the trust.
Yep.
You're giving me 25 grand
$25,000.
and I'm holding, and I go and buy Bitcoin, 25 grand worth of Bitcoin.
Sits in the trust.
Right. Which is not like, it's denominated differently. So it would be, I don't know,
It's
right now it's
divided by
1,000 to
10.
1, right?
Yeah,
Right now it's 1,000, right? But back then it actually was 1,000. So let's say I buy 2.5 Bitcoin, right? For that.
Right.
Now you have to wait 6 months.
Right.
Before you can exit,
bring cash out, so to speak.
before you cash out, right? Now 6 months goes by, now you're allowed to cash out.
Mhm.
How do you cash out? You convert it into GBTC shares.
Okay.
So that it's like 250 shares.
So
or
now
something.
instead of owning a Bitcoin backed thing, I now own the shares of the company that owns the Bitcoin backed.
Right. But if you want to exit, right? You
Right,
choose to
right.
exit.
Right.
Now you say, I want to exit. I'm going to sell these things. So you convert them into, say, 250 GBTC shares, if it's 10 to 1. And now you sell those GBTC shares. I don't know exactly how the mechanism works, but like in theory, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now you get to sell those 250 GBTC shares,
And
right?
then I get cash.
To
somehow.
get, let's say the Bitcoin price did not move.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
You get your money back, the 25 grand back by selling GBTC shares. But let's say there was so much demand for GBTC shares
Right.
that you're going to actually get to sell them for 30 grand and not 25 grand because there is a 5% premium on them, because guys like me don't want to buy into the trust. I
Why?
just want to, because I want to easily just buy them in my, I don't want to wait 6 months. I want to buy them in my retirement account tax free now. And what if I choose to sell them a month later?
So the shares you can sell a month later. There's no
The shares you
lockup
can sell
period.
later that day.
That's the mechanism I was.
You can sell the shares later that day.
And that's why the pressures are different.
Correct.
Okay.
But those shares, they're not traded on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. They're traded on the Pink Sheet Exchange, right? Which is it's just another exchange,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's designed for these alternative products. Okay. That's why Jordan Belfort was the king of that back in the day. Pink Sheets.
Yeah.
Right. And most of the companies there are penny stocks, but there are things like this as well, just alternative investments, right? So now back in the early days of GBTC and Grayscale, there was just not enough GBTC shares to go around.
They're more valuable because they're more liquid.
Correct.
Got it.
Okay. And because they were trading at a premium for so long, whole companies did a business on this. BlockFi and others, they're like, well, we're going to load up. We're going to buy millions of dollars worth of into the trust. We're going to wait 6 months.
Okay.
And we're going to
Then
profit
sell 6 months
5 to
later.
10% because
Right.
there's all this demand for GBTC shares.
Got it. Okay.
So they were,
That pushed the price.
and at
up.
one point that premium was over 100%.
Yeah.
And then it slowly come down, and then it was over above zero for like 5 years straight. And it was trading between 5 and 100%, 5 and say 40% for like 3 years.
Right.
Now, what happened was in the bull market of 2020, just think about it, for an entire year of 2020, you know that big run up off the COVID crash into the 60K?
Mhm.
During that run up, Grayscale was buying double the average mined Bitcoin for almost an entire year
Right.
per day.
Yep.
right? They were sucking up.
And by that, you mean if Bitcoin is produced every 10 minutes, if at the time 12.5 Bitcoins
Right.
produced every 10 minutes, they were buying 25 Bitcoins
Every
every
10
10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
How long?
For like 9 months. 9 months to a
And
year.
they've got to go to the market to do that.
And that is what
Oh,
significantly
yeah.
drove the price of Bitcoin to that first top.
Mhm.
But then there was that 6-month delay. All of these companies, BlockFi had a whole business on this. They were offering people 7%, but they were selling GBTC shares 6 months later at 20%.
That's what I was trying to say.
Right.
I knew. it
And
was
then
coming,
hedge
the money
funds
was
got
coming
into it, like
somewhere.
3AC got into it,
Wow.
and other like there was a whole business model on this.
Based on the GBTC premium.
Correct.
Was that double top 6 months after the first one?
Exactly.
Oh, it's
So-
all coming together now.
So what happened was, so now if I go back to the chart,
Mhm.
now this is all easy in hindsight. In
Right.
real time,
Yeah.
this wasn't as simple. And I wish I realized this in real time, but everyone was just hyping up.
Yeah.
So if I go back to that double top weekly chart, oh, with the premium, hold on, let's get to the premium. So here, you see the double top.
Yeah.
When the first top
Oh.
was happening, right here,
Yep.
in GBTC and in Bitcoin, you can see how the premium peaked at 40%
Wow.
over here.
Right.
The second top premium was really lower because of all this Bitcoin that was starting to get bought up. 6 months later, they're selling. So right here, this is where the premium was only at 10%.
Everyone was selling.
Right. And
it's
then
more
by
of
the time the second peak came about, the premium was already negative. And this came 6 months later. So by this point,
When it was 6 months later, from here to here.
right, this is
Okay.
April and
Yep.
this is November.
Got it.
By the time the second peak happened, the discount, it's not a premium anymore, it's a discount.
Hmm.
And now what happened was, once the discount started to approach zero, none of these companies were going to buy into the trust anymore. Because then 6 months later, they're not making a profit,
Right.
they're taking a loss,
Yeah.
right? So all of a sudden, a company that was buying twice the daily mineable supply of Bitcoin, not literally every 10 minutes,
Sure,
but
sure.
on a
Yeah.
weekly basis, let's
Right,
say.
right.
Suddenly that one company that was buying double the average mine supply for 9 months was buying zero.
Right.
And not a single Bitcoin has been added to the trust since the premium went to here.
Wow.
So since this day,
Hmm.
okay? And that's a monster demand for Bitcoin itself off the market.
Okay.
And that's what's been driving this bear market.
So this last 5-minute discussion was the setup to explain why, if if GBTC wins.
Oh, no, we'll get there too.
Okay,
So-
all right.
So,
I hope everyone's appreciating this Easter because the banks are closed today. It's an Easter discussion, right?
yeah.
Well, that's great. Thanks for.
Yeah.
That's right.
Pretty sure.
Okay, so let me just finish this up
Right,
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
So now what's happening? So this is also why companies like BlockFi ended up failing, because suddenly all these companies that were still buying Bitcoin here, some of them were like even afraid to sell here. Well, why am I going to sell Bitcoin at like a 15% loss and we owe people 7%?
Mm-hmm.
And if you held, now the price of Bitcoin went down and the premium kept going down.
Oh.
And there was like 3AC what got hit. BlockFi got hit. They were holding tens of millions of GBTC shares, right?
Yeah.
And then as these companies started to collapse, they had to sell whatever assets they had. And now they had to create so many GBTC shares on the market. And there was not enough demand in the bear market.
Do you think that this phenomenon?
So,
Okay, yeah.
so Barry Silber himself, like when this started, right? Digital Currency Group was holding like maybe 10 million shares of GBTC. But the biggest holders were 3AC, and I actually have pictures of this. I'll show it to you. Hold on, real quick. This is actually really good. I showed them earlier. Let me go here. Let me go to, wait, pictures.
This is the part I will now tell you a joke while Tone looks for the thing. Okay, so let me think, what's an
Oh, here,
appropriate joke?
one minute.
Oh,
Let's mention the 100th Bitcoin brunch coming up this Sunday.
what does that mean?
In Miami.
In Miami, it's Bitcoin brunch. It happens every single week.
Oh, I've been to this. This is the
Yes.
outdoor restaurant place.
Yes.
I've
and
been to this.
Tatiana will be singing.
When is this happening? April
Sunday.
16th? This coming Sunday?
Yeah.
I
This
think I'll be
coming
in-
Sunday,
I think I'll
guys.
be in town.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in my calendar right now.
You got some.
So if you're
Maybe
in
it's a
Miami,
download.
April 16th, 10 a.m. to 3, maybe I can bring my little drum set or something.
Can.
Because,
Oh, I got the pictures.
There's a
Right, okay.
stage.
And now we'll bring you back to your host, Tone Vays.
Here, so check this out.
Like that little
That was
segue,
great. Well
right?
done.
I know.
So, oh, what?
If you need it again, I'm gonna leave it up here. but
He
I
needs a
can come outside
producer.
for a minute.
to do the
I
thing.
do need a producer.
Somebody's like,
So here.
push the button.
So here's what it used to be.
Would you take the dog with you?
Yes.
Like entice him with the ball? Yeah.
Look,
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is about a year ago. What's the
Okay.
date on this? In 2021,
Yeah.
Three Arrows Capital held 40 million shares of GBTC.
Bounce the ball right there as you walk out. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's
In
done.
2021,
Yeah.
Three Arrows Capital had 40 million shares
Wow.
of GBTC. BlockFi had 19 million shares of GBTC. And Digital Currency Group, which is Barry Silbert's parent company,
Right.
held 12 million, right? But
Yeah.
look at it in 2022, 0 and 0. These are the biggest holders in the world.
That's what is the 0 and the 0? Oh, that's a number.
How many
oh,
shares
oh,
are
they
holding?
got, oh my God.
They had to dump. Look,
Yeah.
so this is the biggest holders in the world of the asset.
Wow.
Three Arrows Capital went bankrupt. They had to fire sell 38 million shares, and this is all the shares in the world.
So the DCG then bought all of those back. That's why they're so high now.
DCG, if they didn't buy them back, the discount could have been 80%, 90%. And remember, this is fully backed by Bitcoin,
Wow.
but there's just not enough demand.
Hmm.
So DCG, so this is where that $1 billion loan from Genesis, you know, the whole company
Yeah.
with the Winklevi twins,
yeah.
putting, well, like, and they're like trying to sue Genesis because they were giving yield product, right? And then Genesis went bankrupt.
They I didn't know they went bankrupt.
Well, they're like, they
Yeah.
may or may not have gone bankrupt. So
Okay.
don't hold me out, right?
Yeah.
But that was the whole thing. So Genesis lent. So Genesis is another
Yeah.
another
Yep.
subsidiary of Digital Currency Group,
Oh, they
They
are.
let-
I didn't realize that.
right? They lent. Their subsidiary lent to the parent company,
Wait, Gemini or Genesis?
Genesis.
Oh, so yeah. Would you let him out?
What?
Let him out, please. Yeah. thank you.
Genesis.
Or leave the door open.
Gemini was promoting Genesis as a yield product, as a
Right.
interest product, right?
Okay.
But Genesis was giving all these loans to certain companies. One of the companies, there was $1 billion loan to their parent company of Digital Currency Group. I'm speculating to buy up all of these GBTC shares because this fire sale of these shares. And remember, this is the order of the biggest holders in the world.
And ARK Invest, I wonder if they still hold.
Oh, they
do.
bought a
Yeah,
lot. They
yeah,
bought more as well since then, right? So Three Arrows Capital went bankrupt. This was
Right.
one of their main things, and other dumb investments.
Mhm.
BlockFi went bankrupt,
Mhm.
and they had to fire sell all those GBTC shares because they were just buying up the trust and then selling 6 months later for a premium. And then the premium goes
Well,
negative.
Right.
They were probably hesitant on selling, and then it just got worse and worse and worse, and then they had to fire sell.
Wow.
Right? So Digital Currency Group is now the biggest holder with 67 million shares, and they needed the extra $1 billion to buy it. And they tried to buy all this up, but this is what was driving down the discount.
Right.
And now there's just too many GBTC shares
Mm,
on the market.
right. So
And-
one strategy is that you buy a bunch of those shares now,
Right.
if we think the price is going up.
Because there will be demand for it.
Right.
But since then, but back in the day, this was
Mhm.
like the only product
Yeah.
so you can buy on an exchange. Now there's other, derivatives that you can buy through your broker.
Yeah.
Now, but this is the only one that's actually backed by Bitcoin.
Right.
Everything else is a paper derivative of Bitcoin.
Hmm.
Now, they don't trade at a discount, but they're paper derivative. This one is actually backed by the
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
So do you think that this had more impact than the Luna stuff? Or
Oh, yeah.
really? Okay.
This is probably one of the biggest factors
Hmm.
that also drove the price of Bitcoin down. Because remember,
Yeah.
they used to buy double the average buying supply, and then they
Right.
started buying zero.
Right.
And they've been buying zero ever since.
Right.
So, right. So this was the last time I looked at it. I should probably ask someone with a Bloomberg terminal to give me another screenshot. But that was their latest holdings. And now if you look at, so this is how many GBT, this is how many actual Bitcoin is backing GBTC shares. So you can see how it peaked in like early 2021. And this Bitcoin has no mechanism of going to the open market.
Which is what we hope an ETF would allow.
Correct.
Or do
So
we?
that's where we're
Dun,
getting to
dun,
the SEC.
dun.
Right. So basically, the only way this 600,000 Bitcoin exits the cold storage
Mhm,
is Barry Silbert and Grayscale charge a 2% management fee.
mhm.
This is why this is a cash cow. They're selling and paying themselves 2% of this number every year.
Wow.
So
And that's the number of Bitcoin
that's the number
at
of
the current
Bitcoin
price.
backing
Yeah.
the trust and GBTC shares.
Wow. Okay. They're collecting. Wow. Okay. So they're
And they're selling 2% a year. They're selling
For
every
maintenance.
day or every week for maintenance, right?
right.
And by maintenance, it means security and employees, insurance, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Offices.
Right. But
various private
because,
jet.
but because this isn't a real ETF,
Mhm.
if it was a real ETF, they would manage this cold storage and actually sell
Into
them
the
on the
open
open
market,
market. Right?
yeah.
But they are constrained. Like a Bitcoin goes in, it never goes out, like Hotel California,
Yeah.
basically.
No.
Bitcoin but now no one's ever going to buy into the trust again until the premium, unless the discount becomes a premium.
Right.
But then you still have the risk of 6 months.
So if an ETF, if they get approved, if SEC loses their case, and all of a sudden they get to turn the trust into an ETF, they're going to start selling that, right?
Correct.
And that's the fear and the worry.
And well, yes, but it's worse than that actually. So yes,
Mm.
if they potentially become a proper ETF,
Yep.
so the positive news of them becoming a proper ETF could
Could.
drive the
Yep.
price higher.
Because now more institutional.
Correct. Also, by the time
Liquid.
this happens,
The
we're-
6-month holding period goes away. That's the big
Correct.
thing of an ETF.
correct,
Liquidity.
correct,
And now no longer turning into a GBT shares because you can actually trade the ETF on the open market
correct,
within your brokerage accounts.
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, you got that part right.
Yeah.
Now, by the time this happens, Bitcoin will probably be at a new all-time high, and the demand for GBTC will probably be high enough to take away that discount anyway.
Right.
So I'm not too worried about them fire selling this 600,000 Bitcoin.
Okay.
But here's the problem with it. Here's the problem with their plan. So they applied for this ETF,
Mhm.
right? And they got denied by the SEC in their statement saying that, well, the reason why we're not going to allow the ETF is because there isn't enough transparency on the spot markets and like the exchange, the crypto exchange markets to give an accurate price. Like we don't kind of trust them. So they challenged this decision to be an ETF. And everything looked great. Like everyone was like, wow, did you listen to their appeal hearing?
Yeah.
It sounded like they're going to win the appeal.
Mhm.
And then basically the judges, if they win the appeal, the judges would be back to have to say to the SEC, yeah, guys, we don't agree with your decision to deny the ETF for these reasons.
Mhm.
But at the end of that hearing, of that 1 hour appeal, remember, the SEC did allow these spot, not ETFs, but ETNs, exchange traded notes,
No. Okay.
right? Or
Mhm.
exchange traded products, ETPs,
Mhm.
right? And the CME futures,
That's the thing that
right?
Mhm.
So, but the CME futures are traded.
Right.
So, so the judge, one of the judges, asked at the very end, asked the SEC lawyer the following question, because the Grayscale lawyer brought it up that, well, how come you denied us for this reason, but you approved these other derivative products like the CME futures and the others? Because obviously the price is not an issue. And they said, and the judge goes to the SEC, if we deny you this statement, does this mean you may be going back and re-looking at your approval for these other derivative products that already exist? And the SEC lawyer goes, yes, absolutely. So it is 50% possible that by Grayscale winning,
Yeah.
the SEC is going to come back and say, yeah, we may have to remove all these other derivative products on Bitcoin.
That other companies have created.
Already created, yes.
Including Galaxy,
Including the
I think.
CME futures.
CME. Well, okay.
Though the CME futures is more of a CFTC thing,
Mhm.
but they do work together.
Yeah.
So it's actually possible that by Grayscale winning,
Right.
the derivative market for Bitcoin goes away.
And maybe that's a good thing.
Maybe we don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just letting you know the
Something more.
consequences.
Yeah.
The consequences of Grayscale winning this appeal is that not that they get the ETF, is that they remove the Bitcoin CME futures and these other products like Leah's
Because you
product.
don't need an ETF, or you don't need those products anymore, those complicated wrappings and products and derivatives, because an ETF is more quote unquote pure, right?
No, because they're saying that we can't approve an ETF because we don't trust the price discovery of Bitcoin on regulated crypto exchanges. So that's what I say. So if they come back and say, well, we're not going to approve the ETF, but if the reason why we're not going to approve the ETF is that we don't trust where the price of Bitcoin comes from,
Yeah.
we now have to go back on all those prior approvals for these other regulated Bitcoin derivative products. And we have to take those down.
Hmm.
We trusted Bitcoin.
But the other regulated products are more, in my head, convoluted, right? You had to jump through so many hoops to create them. Please, SEC, may we do something? No. Well, how about if we do this and look at the law here?
No, but they have them.
I know they have them. I know.
Leah
Yeah.
Wald and Valkyrie
Yeah,
has one.
yeah.
I think ProShares has one,
Right.
and the CME futures themselves.
Right, but those products are like the byproduct of an overly complex SEC, CFTC regulatory
Correct.
environment.
Right, but
So a pure ETF would be simpler and
right,
less.
right. But again,
Yeah.
the SEC's reason for not allowing the ETF,
Mhm.
their main reason is they don't trust the price discovery of Bitcoin.
Sure.
So the Grayscale's argument is, well, if you don't trust the price discovery of Bitcoin, how come you approved all these other
Right.
derivative products?
Right.
And that's where the judge asked the SEC, well, if we deny you this reasoning to approve the Bitcoin ETF,
Right.
is one of your
Mission.
fallbacks
Yeah.
going to be to reevaluate the approvals of these other products and potentially disallow them?
Hmm.
And the lawyer said, yes, that is possible.
Okay. It may not happen. There'll be lawsuits out the yin yang there.
Correct.
So maybe that's good too. But yeah, okay, interesting.
So
All right, whatever.
anyway, so
God, I love my government. Not.
yeah.
Ugh.
All right. So these were winded discussions, but I hope everyone like kind of got the message here.
Yeah.
Oh man, can you read faster than me? You're an American.
Yeah. What are
Well,
you
you're
looking for?
from Minnesota, so you could be
You looking for
Canadian
relevant questions?
or a Viking.
Yeah.
Just look at anything here that's relevant,
Okay.
and you can scroll.
Yeah.
With the mouse. You're a Mac person. You look like a Mac person.
I'm not.
Oh.
Pajamas. What is this?
You
Florida style. Good morning. I can never keep my face. Blah blah blah. How much percent of GBTC is owned by Americans is one question. It's interesting. Can you tell?
You can't tell, but again, if you look at this chart, and I'll try to get the latest chart. This is the last one, so you can see the companies that own it. They're not individuals though. Like for example,
Here's a question for you.
like for example, the
Yeah.
amount of shares that I own.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see my name here, thank God. But I own a decent amount. It's all in my retirement fund. I've done well in my retirement fund prior to that, so it's all in my Roth IRA.
Right.
So you can see the number of shares here go down into like the thousands.
Right.
And like I do own thousands of shares,
Mhm.
less than 11,000 shares.
Mhm.
But I own.
Fewer, by the way, for your American.
Thank
resident.
you. But I did go down the list, and I did not see my name there.
Okay.
So
Wow.
thank God they don't post individual names. But this is just like public I guess corporations that have to provide transparency,
Right.
Which I don't in my retirement account, thank God.
Here's
Yeah.
a good question for you. Do you expect Grayscale to start accumulating more again for their trust upcoming 2 years, Tone? Thank you,
I
sir,
don't-
having Palo on for asking the question.
Yeah, so I don't think they can at this point because they're coming under too much scrutiny, right? So
And we got this is clarifying things a lot for people, so that's good.
good. So Digital Currency Group borrowed $1 billion, and I'm speculating that they used it to buy all these shares because that used to be owned by these failing companies because they wanted to protect their product. Can you imagine if GBTC went to like a 90% discount, right?
Mhm.
It would scare the shit out of people, right? They would think that they're a scam or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And two, if you know for a fact your product is fully backed by Bitcoin and it's selling at a 30% discount, why wouldn't you buy it up?
Right, your own company, right? Your
Right,
own
your own
shares.
product, right?
essentially.
But at this point, they're getting so much scrutiny over letting Genesis fail with this $1 billion loan that they gave to the parent company. Like when they get sued, they're going to try to claw back that $1 billion. And they're going to say, yeah, we see the term of the deal allows you to not to have to repay this money until 2030. But your company is collapsing, you owe money to other companies, they can almost force them to sell these shares if the money was used to buy these shares, hence driving the discount further. So I don't think Grayscale has the money to buy more shares.
Hmm.
Like,
That's
where are they going to get the money? They already used it all. If they had more money, they would buy this shit at when it was 40% discount.
So you're speculating that because they haven't bought it yet, they're out of money on themselves.
Correct. And again, with Genesis being scrutinized and the company going into bankruptcy,
Mhm.
and those that are trying to get the money out of Genesis because Genesis went under,
Mhm.
they may try to sue them for this $1 billion. And if that $1 billion is invested in GBTC shares by Grayscale, it's going to be a tough case, but who knows what the judge will say.
So many weird shit happening that the price of Bitcoin is dependent upon, unfortunately, because attempts to work within a stupid system that are stupid laws
Right,
have
but
created.
also don't forget, this is Bitcoin Treasuries. This is Rodolfo's website,
Yeah.
and Mt. Gox still has
Yeah.
how many shares? 140 million,
Bitcoin.
140,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right. Like I keep saying, like I think they're gonna pay people out after they die of old age. I think that's what they're waiting for everyone that claims they're Mt. Gox. Did you have any in Mt. Gox?
No,
You probably did.
not at all.
No, really.
I'm so involved in this network, in the system for so many years. I saw the writings on the wall and jumped out with it. But that's where I.
Right. So the Mt. Gox coins still need to be sold. That's 140. And the US coins, right?
When is that
40,000.
When is that happening?
I think they already sold 10,000.
Okay.
But that's going to go into private hands. You know, that's going to be off auction, right?
Yeah.
But
for these reasons, you think the price?
I mean, Zelensky has 46,000 apparently. I'm not surprised. He has like $50 billion now hidden in Miami somewhere.
Wow. So, and you're thinking that for these reasons, the price could be squashed. And those are meta reasons, Tone. This is not like your chart reading reasons. These are, these are fundamental reasons that you're thinking the price is going to stay down. Are you saying the charts are telling you the price stay down? Are you factoring in these fundamentals?
Well, I'm factoring in the time to halving, and I think we did bottom out. So even if people are going to start selling their GBTC shares, I think they're like myself. They're going to wait till they come close to zero. And there needs to be a better investment, right?
You mean the GBT share is going to come close to zero? Oh, moving
the discount
to zero.
Correct, the discount.
Yeah, from negative to zero.
Right, from negative. The discount right now is at negative 34, 35.
Right.
Right.
But the charts are telling you you'll be at 40K by the end of the year.
Correct.
The fundamentals aren't telling you that.
The fundamentals are telling me there's still a lot of freaking sell pressure on Bitcoin.
Right. Okay.
There is a lot. Again, between the Mt. Gox coins, people still it's just there's still a lot of selling pressure. Like we need that halving to come sooner than later.
Yeah. And do you think this is going to bode well for miners who are spinning up now, or
I think it's
before the halving?
Yeah, I think the price will still go up. I think the miners are fine. I think if a miner survived this mess at 15,000, the miner is good.
And people buying mining equipment now, it's probably a good time.
Right. And now you have all these others. Like, I don't know if you were on Spaces the other day where BTC Sessions recently did a video basically explaining. Oh, what's up?
You should go full screen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, let's show you the price real quick.
Okay.
Oh, beautiful. Today's great. Great chart. So,
full screen.
Wait. I'm going to go to the BTC Sessions channel.
Don't bore your audience with.
Oh, by the way, someone recommended a different military summary channel, just to go off topic for a minute. Someone recommended I follow, let me refresh this because I recently followed it. Whoa. I don't know what the hell I was pressing. I just want to refresh the military summary channel. So I recently followed like another military channel. I don't even know where it is right now. I don't want to go to recent videos. It'll end badly. Even though there is no more porn on YouTube. I don't know. I'm always worried about defense politics. Yeah, someone recommended I follow this channel. So I actually watched the last 3 videos here, and I have to disagree with the person. I think Military Summary is a much better channel than that channel.
Okay.
So anyway,
have a discussion.
so I'm going to go to BTC Sessions channel.
Okay.
And I have not yet seen this video, but we discussed it.
His YouTube channel.
His YouTube channel.
I gotta jam with this guy, man. Musician,
Him too?
isn't he?
No, that's
Oh,
mechanic.
I'm thinking mechanic. Oh yeah.
Thinking
Yeah,
mechanic.
mechanic and his keyboards. Oh, I'm so
So-
looking forward to that.
Where's his something about a miner? Bitcoin for Bitcoin baby steps. How often is he posting?
10 days ago, 7 days ago.
Something about a
Every
miner,
day.
running a miner.
Yeah.
Look at a
I'm
miner.
looking. Mine's mini script. Keep going.
Mini heater, boom. So
Oh,
so basically, so he just did a whole video. So he knew nothing about mining, kind of like myself when I try to stop my miner. And
his head. There you go.
Okay.
These are
Um,
things. Yeah.
so he was not into mining, neither
Right.
was I. I used to run a miner out of my cabin in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And he basically did a whole video about how you can buy an old S9,
That's 9. Wow.
an old S9.
Okay.
You can buy it for like $100.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nobody wants it. They're
Right.
not that profitable,
Yeah.
right? He says you tweak some software,
Mm-hmm.
you replace
Full
the
screen. If
fans.
it's one click, you should do
Right.
it. Yeah.
It's like you take out the fans that it comes with,
Yeah.
because the fan is really loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's designed to run the CPU at a certain heat.
Right. Right.
So you install different software,
Yeah.
so that you don't run the CPU as hot. You replace the fan with a silent fan,
Quieter one, and you get more heat,
and it
means you want the heat.
becomes virtually a free heater.
Right.
It doesn't make enough money to be a profit, but if you live in Minnesota,
Well, yeah, I have a cabin. I'm going to be building,
Right.
and then I
So-
could heat the hot tub
exactly.
in the winter.
So
That's
he
fun.
literally did a video how you could create a heater for your house
You guys listening to this?
that makes at least enough money to pay for itself.
Right. And if you've
And-
got some renewables on the roof and stuff.
Right. And you're decentralizing mining. Imagine if everyone in a cold climate
Right.
started doing one of these, they get free heat
Right.
basically from a Bitcoin miner at no like sound noise.
But then you'd see so the hash rate would increase in the winter months if everyone did.
Well, sure.
yeah,
right.
Interesting.
Or you would heat your hot tub, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So all of
Yeah.
these like innovations,
Right.
they're going to be very, very popular as technology evolves and old miners pile up.
Right.
So stuff like this will make the hash rate go up. So these are good things, right?
If they decentralize, if people
Right.
do them,
Right. So I'm not worried about mining at all. Well, like mining will be fine
and profitable, by that you mean.
and profitable, right?
Okay.
So, well, not even profitable, right? Like it'll just find a way, right? I always said that the day big mining farms are not profitable is the day Bitcoin mining fully decentralized.
Mm.
And my view on that is the following, right? How, let's say you were the only person living right in this house, because I know someone's always living here, right? But let's say
Fewer these days.
you're the only person living here, right?
Mhm.
And you still pay for the internet here.
Yeah.
And it's a big internet bill,
Mhm.
big house,
Mhm.
right? You need good speed.
I've got the good speed. It's not that bad.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So your internet bill is what? 120 a month?
Less.
100.
Yep. Less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's use round
About
numbers.
100. Yeah.
Your internet's 100, right? But let's say you were in this house less than 6 months a year.
Right.
Are you turning off your internet
No.
or are you paying the bill?
Paying the
You're
bill.
paying the bill.
Right.
Do you make money from paying this bill?
I do not.
So why do you pay $1,000 a year on internet when you barely use it?
Right.
Why?
Convenience, and you want it there when
Convenience.
you need that. Yeah.
And you need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how do you make money by having internet?
Well, yeah, and so I monitor the house remotely with the
Right.
devices
But you
and
need it like
And
you
with guests
your
coming.
your life would
Yeah.
be horrible.
Right.
Like your business would suffer.
Right.
Your everything would suffer, right?
stuff. Okay.
So now,
Okay.
right? Think of it the same way, but with a Bitcoin miner.
Mhm,
If you hold, even if you are just a Bitcoin user,
mhm.
if you're a Bitcoin company, you need Bitcoin to stay decentralized. Otherwise, your company dies,
Okay.
right?
Because the whole Bitcoin would start to go down then.
Correct.
Yeah.
If Bitcoin is not trusted
Right.
and your entire business depends on Bitcoin,
Right.
you need to make sure that mining stays decentralized.
So this
You're
is an argument.
incentivized, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
even if you are a holder of Bitcoin,
Right.
let's say you have 20% of your life savings in Bitcoin,
Mhm.
even if that's a few $100,000,
Right.
you're now incentivized to make sure that Bitcoin mining is decentralized. Otherwise, you lose your life savings.
Well, but this is still an argument of people doing this voluntarily,
But again, right, you are protecting your
yeah,
life savings,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the way you pay an internet bill that doesn't pay you anything, how is that different than paying a similar mining bill to protect your life savings?
Right. That doesn't pay you anything.
That doesn't pay you anything.
Right. Yeah.
It's
You're
no
right.
different than paying an internet bill that you barely use because you're never home.
Are you shaming me because I'm not running a miner right now? I don't have my own node. You
I'll
should.
get there.
You should. I agree. I should be doing
Right.
this. I have companies that run nodes, but
right,
yeah.
and it's the same thing with running a node, right?
Yeah.
Same concept.
I
Right?
do have some
It's
miners
just-
going in a house.
It's just that
somewhere.
running a node is just free.
Right.
It's not exactly free, right?
Yeah.
Running a node, if you you need to pay for that internet.
Yeah.
And B, you need to put in some time and learn how to do it.
That's true.
And you may need to. You may
That's what
want
my nephew is for.
Right. You may want to buy some equipment, so it's not free, but it's low cost.
Right.
Running a miner is higher cost,
Mhm.
slightly higher cost, but the concept is the same. You run those things to keep Bitcoin decentralized, to protect your life savings, just like you pay an internet bill, even when you don't use it, for convenience and for like your life
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make.
So you're not
your
using
business.
it much. but
Every
you need-
single business needs the internet. Like very few, unless you're a construction worker,
Right.
and even then, you probably need internet to get to work on time and reroute traffic. Right.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Hmm.
so these podcasts can go on forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But any other questions here? Let's read that.
Yeah. Click on that. Okay. There's a question about LTZ leading because of the halving coming
No, I
up.
don't care.
Okay.
It doesn't. No one cares.
mm,
The
A6
halving is actually going to hurt.
Okay.
Wait,
A6.
no, we'll talk about it real quick. There's a short discussion.
Okay.
So the halving in Litecoin is actually going to crash the Litecoin price. Not crash, but okay. So here's the thing, right? Bitcoin has to at least double in price every 4 years. Otherwise, the hash rate will drop. But when it comes to Litecoin, that Litecoin, no one needs Litecoin. Everything I just explained, why there will be miners losing money and mining Bitcoin. I just explained it to Doug, why people will run Bitcoin miners at a loss. Ain't nobody running a Litecoin miner at a loss. There is no defender of Litecoin mining of last resort. And this is why all other proof of work coins are going to go to zero, because as the halving comes, more and more people are going to shut off those miners because no one needs Litecoin. So as the price of Litecoin can't double in price every 4 years as it has, more and more miners come off the network. And it goes into what I call a mining death spiral. It already happened to Dogecoin, and that's why it started being merge mined with Litecoin. And when it happens to Litecoin, which is a script, I was going to say it would be merge mined with Ethereum. That was also script, but Ethereum doesn't even have mining anymore. So Litecoin would have to merge with another script coin that is stronger than Litecoin. But there is no coin that is stronger than Litecoin in script mining. So here's what's going to happen.
In my script, you mean the algorithm?
The algorithm.
Yeah.
And because there is no stronger script mining coin than Litecoin, the 1 or 1.5 developers of Litecoin, which is totally centralized, they will just push out a hard fork and change the mining algorithm of Litecoin into SHA-256 to be merge mined with Bitcoin.
Interesting.
Or it just dies.
Here's another question for you. ASICs are moving around like crazy, says Bernoulli. Many have been repossessed that were used as collateral for loans, but they're finding new homes. So yeah, we kind
of covered that.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, that's not really a question. Yeah, I don't see any questions here. Oh, there was. Yeah.
I actually questioned that Ukraine number. I actually don't think Ukraine has any Bitcoin. I think that number is crazy. I'll tell you 2 reasons why. And I'm about to piss off some people, but I'll tell you 2 reasons why I believe Ukraine has 0. Let me, what screen was I on last? BTC sessions. Hold on, here it is. So I'll tell you why I think this number is total bullshit. So this Ukraine number of 46,000 Bitcoin. So there's two reasons. One, Ukraine is the most corrupt country in the Northern Hemisphere and possibly in the world. You can debate me whether there are some African countries that are more corrupt than Ukraine, and it would actually be a good debate. Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries in the world, and by far the most corrupt country in Europe. Like, you know those Panama Papers?
Wow.
The names they got. So the Ukraine had at least 3 or 4 times more politicians on that list than any other country. Than the second place, right? It was Ukraine, and then you divide that number by 4, and then that was second place. Like Ukraine is the most corrupt country in the world. So if at one point Ukraine did have this many Bitcoin, trust me, it's already in people's pockets. Okay, we don't know how it got split, but the country of Ukraine does not have this.
This is your theory.
Oh yeah,
Because of corruption.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And there is a second reason, and the other reason is again, this is the one that's going to piss everybody off. Because it's also, and I like Ukraine, like I love Kiev for different reasons. The food's amazing. The
people are beautiful.
Yeah, people are beautiful. I mean, that'd be sexist. But Ukraine's great. But for certain things. And the second reason is 80 to 90% of any statements that come out of Ukraine are outright lies. That even if this number was stated somewhere, it was probably a lie to begin with.
And you're saying that because
Ukraine
their history and
it's the combination, right? Again, it's the most corrupt country, possibly in the world, and definitely in the Northern Hemisphere. So any number that anything that comes out of Ukraine, you have to assume that it's a lie to begin with. And if it wasn't a lie, this amount of Bitcoin has already been, it's gone. It's just gone. Now, people may still have this somewhere, like Zelensky might have a bunch, or who knows, or his other people. But the country, it's not like El Salvador stash. Like El Salvador stash is responsibly belongs to the government. At least that's my perception.
Yeah.
Right?
Does anybody know when the ETA decision for Grayscale is coming out? When is that coming out?
Probably in about a month or two.
It's too long. Okay.
What is the war? I have no idea when it's ending, but honestly, I think by the end of the summer, we're gonna know a lot. I'd rather have. I don't want to talk about it now, but like you're gonna know a lot within a month or two.
I got a bunch of shit to do, Tom.
All right.
I'll be around.
All right, guys. I'm gonna take one more peek at the charts, S&P 500 and stuff, and then I'm gonna call it a day. All right, let me look at your chat here. How many live viewers we have? We have 360. We did good. Casa de Dragones? Wait, what? Casa de Drogas. I thought that was a tequila. Maybe ask around on Twitter. Oh, I don't know. Appreciate. Okay, no. Not questions for me. Those are questions for Bernoulli. 1 Bitcoin, 1,000 shares. So less than 11. Yeah, I know, but it used to be 10, right? Like that's the thing, right? When Grayscale started, it was 10 shares because 1 Bitcoin was like $10, right? So and then they added a 0, and then they added another 0. So it was 10 shares at one point, then it became 100, then it became 1,000, or it was 100 shares and then it became 1,000. So but yeah, they redenominate every now and then. I would not say that Russian ruble is circling the drain at all. We can take a look at the chart. What you have to understand about the Russian ruble, and I hope I said that I was expecting this thing to reverse off the moving average, whatever company this was, the last company we looked at the other day. Let me look at the stock market real quick before I go on.
Really quick question, Tom.
Yeah.
Should people be buying the GBTC before the court rules on their ETF thing?
So I can't say whether you should or shouldn't,
Right.
but I would say that it's kind of irrelevant. I don't think if anyone is buying up GBTC thinking that the court ruling is going to go in Grayscale's favor, that's not the reason to buy. Like this ruling is probably irrelevant to Grayscale. I mean, obviously, if the court rules in favor, it's a great question. If the court rules in favor of Grayscale, there's going to be all this hype, and there could be a lot of buying of GBTC. But it's dumb buying. Like that, even if the court rules in Grayscale's favor, as I explained, it may not be a good thing for regulated derivative markets. And even if it is a good thing, it doesn't mean that GBTC is going to become an ETF a month later. It's still going to go through like a 1 to 2 year process. Like it just starts from scratch. They just have like the SEC will come back and they'll take like 6 more months and come back with another reason as to why they will accept it or won't accept it. And even if the SEC goes back to the drawing board and then some Hester Pierce or something convinces SEC to allow the Grayscale to become an ETF, GBTC to become an ETF, that decision is going to come back like 3 months later, and then there's going to be like another 3 to 6 month process of making it happen. Like it's not going to happen overnight. So buying into it is just silly hype. The decision itself does not change what GBTC is for at least 12 more months, no matter what happens. But if the decision is, if the decision does become that the SEC has to go back to the drawing board, and the SEC comes back and removes all derivative products, they will not remove GBTC. They're going to remove other products. So that could actually be very good for GBTC. So either way, I think GBTC benefits, no matter if they win the case. I think GBTC benefits, but it's not the reason to buy into it unless you're speculating on the hype of other people believing crazy, articles from Cointelegraph and Daily Daily Hodl or whatever.
Benefits. Does Bitcoin benefit?
I can make the argument in both directions. I can make the argument that Bitcoin, that regulators being friendly to Bitcoin is good for Bitcoin. I can also make the argument that governments being friendly to Bitcoin is bad for Bitcoin. It's a completely debatable topic. I can debate either side. I can say that government being friendly to Bitcoin is bad for Bitcoin because then most Bitcoin ends up locked in government regulated institutions like Coinbase, GBTC. And then when you have, let's say, 50 to 60% of all Bitcoin under the control of government regulated institutions, you get the 1933 Gold Act all over again, where over a weekend, the government took away all gold from the banks that they regulated. And all the people held their gold at the banks. And the government took all the gold in 1933 because with one phone call, if they had phones at the time, which I don't believe they did, but with one telegraph, they got it, right? So if the US government is holding 40% of all the Bitcoin in the world, they can confiscate all of it in a single weekend, and now the Bitcoin space is fucked. But if the government is hostile to Bitcoin, that can't happen. Then people are actually protecting their private keys.
Yeah.
So like I said, I can make the argument in both directions. But government being friendly to Bitcoin opens up Bitcoin to all these, billionaires in the regulated financial system that can pump the price up. So I can make the argument in both directions. It's short-term good for long-term danger.
Right.
Depends on your time scale. So let's go to the Russian ruble real quick, and I want to explain something. So, and what I'm explaining, the Russian ruble applies to all currencies. So the Russian ruble is slowly devaluing. But when your currency slowly devalues, it's not bad. Every country wants their currency to slightly devalue because it makes their goods cheaper to the other people that are buying them. So every country actually wants a little bit of inflation. Every country likes it when their currency slightly devalues. When your currency appreciates, it's great for the people of that country that buy goods from other countries. If you are an importer of a lot of goods, if you are a traveler, if you are earning your money in rubles and you are now traveling the world and living in Thailand, ruble strengthening is great. But Russia is more of an exporter than an importer. So when Russian ruble devalues against the dollar and oil and gas is priced in dollars, you have to pay dollars for Russian exports. And it's good for Russia. So the government of Russia is actually happy. Now, when your currency devalues a lot, that's bad. But when your currency devalues slowly and a little, that's good. But it does show that other countries are not trusting your currency. And don't forget, Russia might be winning the Ukrainian war, but they are sure as hell losing the propaganda war. Everyone thinks that Russia is losing in Ukraine, but they're not. So the propaganda war they're losing, Russia can't do propaganda. Russia is so bad at propaganda that everyone thinks that Russia is good at propaganda. That's how bad they are at propaganda. Like everything in America since the day Trump got elected, everything in America was blamed on Russian propaganda, which was bullshit. Russia had absolutely nothing to do with anything that happened in America. Not Trump winning, not Hillary's email leaks, absolutely not Hunter Biden's laptop, nothing. But Russia is so bad at propaganda that the world is convinced of how good they are at propaganda, thanks to the Western propaganda. It's actually impressive at what's been done. So the Russian ruble is devaluing for few reasons. I'm actually surprised that it's devaluing. I always thought that people were a little bit smarter, and Russian ruble should be stronger. I could also be wrong, but it's a combination of propaganda of people thinking that Russia is about to collapse, propaganda thinking that NATO is actually going to go and fight Russia in Russia, which is completely insane, and just this Western propaganda that Russia is on the verge of collapse, and that's what's helping it. Now, I don't know if Russia is doing something to weaken their own currency, because every country wants their currency to slightly weaken. I don't really have a desire to go to Austin, Texas. Guys, the only reason I would ever go to Austin, Texas is I unfortunately have too many good friends living in Austin, Texas. That's the only reason why. I'll be there for BitBlock. All right, guys, I'm gonna get going. I've been talking nonstop, and I'm kind of tired. And I got to talk to Mel about unconfiscatable. Speaking of unconfiscatable, come join us in Las Vegas for poker, conference, carnivory dinners. Look at our awesome speakers. I got to add a few cards here. It's going to be an amazing event. Only 6 spots left at the carnivory dinner, and then price rises. This dinner is limited to 100 people plus the speakers. This is your chance to meet the speakers. The entire conference is limited to 400 people, and only 100 of them can be at the carnivory dinner. And for those interested to talk finance, come down to Ras Al Khaimah, UAE. You fly into the Dubai airport, and then it's about an hour away by car. We pick you up. We pick you up unless you buy your ticket last minute, or tell us your flight last minute. Then we're not picking you up. But if you tell us 2 weeks in advance of when you're landing, we'll pick you up. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. I didn't even look at the traditional markets. Hey, it's about time natural gas went up. Yeah, I've been expecting that. I'm still bullish on natural gas. I know there's a lot of natural gas being created and technology has really improved, but I think that price is super low. And this is silver. I'm not going to talk about that today. S&P. I'm still bullish on the S&P. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. These were awesome discussions. I really like this episode. And I will see you all on the next one. Beautiful. Oh, is this daily? And we got another green star candle. Third time's a charm. You know what? No, I'm not going to say it, but you guys know what I'm thinking. All right, guys. Talk to you all on the next one. Oh, if you're interested in learning how to trade, well, you can also use my affiliate page. But if you're interested in learning how to trade, check out products and services, on-demand videos, and also the MRI. Bye, guys. Bernoulli, yeah, I'll give Mohan and Mel a shout out. Bye, guys. Hippie day today. I'm in my tie pants. They're so comfortable to fly in.